Have you ever knocked someone down, pressed a button as they got up, and somehow beat everything they tried to do? Congratulations, you probably landed a meaty. But what exactly is a meaty? And why do high-level players use them so much? Let's break it down. A meaty is an attack that hits your opponent on the very first frame of their wake-up. Instead of attacking immediately after they get knocked down, you delay your attack so that the active frames of your move are already out when your opponent stands up. Think of it kind of like setting a trap for them. Rather than throwing a punch at where they are, you place a punch where they're about to be. Why it's called a meaty. The term comes from hitting with the meaty part of the move or the active frames. So every attack has a startup, active frames, and recovery. Normally, when you press a button, your opponent gets hit during the beginning of the active frames. With a meaty, they get hit by the later active frames of the attack. That small difference creates some big advantages. Why are meaties so strong? So, for example, let's say your opponent gets knocked down. As they wake up, they decide to mash a 4-frame jab. Your time, a meaty crouch medium punch. Because your attack is already active, by the time they stand up, your move connects before their jab starting at active frames. Your opponent pressed the button, you press the button, but your button was already waiting for them. That's why your meaties beat wake up mashing. There's another hidden benefit to this. Here's where things get interesting. So, because you're connecting with the later active frames of your attack, you recover sooner than normal as well. So that means you often gain an additional frame advantage. In simple terms, your pressure becomes safer and your combos become easier to execute, and your opponent has fewer opportunities to fight back. This is one reason why high-level players are constantly looking for knockdowns. Because in my earlier video I said knockdowns, the more you knock down, it gives you more opportunities to combo off or to finish off your opponent. That's why knockdowns are so important in fighting games, because it puts your opponent in an inherent disadvantage. So you often hear people say they mix up meaties and okis at the same time. So oki, you can check my other video, is pretty much overall pressure you apply after a knockdown. So when you oki someone and you knock them down, you could either threaten them with a throw, with a reversal, well, not a reversal, sorry, but a throw, like a meaty, or something to that sort, right? Or a combo, a super, or something like that, right? But a meaty is just one specific type of oki option, and usually the safer one, more often than not. So the oki is a game plan, knocking down your opponent is a game plan, putting that pressure is a game plan, and finding that good meaty is just a tool in that game plan. Other oki options include, as I mentioned before, the shimmies, the throws, the cross-ups, and stuff like that, or baiting reversals. That's like one of the easiest ones I do, and it's kind of innately, or I should say not innately, it's more intuitive to bait a reversal once you get used to matchups and copying higher level players. How do you practice meaties? So usually, you go into training mode, you knock down the dummy and you record a dummy waking up, and then you practice making sure that you let off that attack and that the active frames actually hit the opponent or that dummy before he gets up back. And that's how you can get your timing right with your particular character. And my final thoughts on this is that a meaty is one of the most fundamental offensive tools in fighting games. It punishes mashing, it creates pressure, and it gives you an extra frame advantage. And it forces your opponent to respect your offense, right? So next time you watch a high-level Street Fighter player, pay attention to what happens after a knockdown. Chances are you're going to see a meaty in action. That's all I have for today, guys, and I'll catch you in another video.